Hey guys, this is Chris from Uncanny Comics and Games. We're gonna be doing some YouTube videos here just to keep you entertained and give you something to watch during this whole crazy quarantine situation we found ourselves in. I know Joey's doing some reviews of comic series, just so you get an idea of what you might want to read. And I thought I'd jump in and do some comic history, comic reviews of some of the key comics that we have in the shop, some of the stuff you might see on the wall whenever we open back up. Hopefully that's soon. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of go over what those issues are and what they mean and where they sit in the history of comics. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. I thought for the first video we do here, we jump right in and do a fan favorite, which is of course the X-Men. And so, yeah, we'll be going through some of the X-Men books we have in the shop, and we'll jump right in here with this is the oldest X-Men comic that we have in the shop, and that is X-Men number 66. And not really a key, per se, but it is a cool old X-Men cover. It's got the original team. It's got Beast before he turned blue. You got Iceman and Angel down here. And then you got Scott and Jean coming in for the rescue there at the bottom. So cool cover, little appearance of the Incredible Hulk there, and this wild kind of circus scene going on in the background. And yeah, it was written by Roy Thomas and illustrated by Sal Buscema. And if those don't know, they did a pretty big Marvel writer and illustrator team. They did a long run in the 70s and 80s on Conan, and I'm a big Conan fan, so I thought that was cool to see them, doing their thing on a old issue of the X-Men. So next one we have here, this is a pretty major X-Men key. This is Uncanny X-Men 139. This is the first appearance of Kitty Pryde, or Shadowcat, and she's right there, front and center on the cover. We always like that. We always talk about how, if you get a first appearance and the character's not on the cover, it's just kind of not the same. But yeah, this one has her front and center with the whole team around her, even has her name on it. Welcome to the X-Men, Kitty Pryde. So yeah, that's a nice comic. So might see that on the wall as soon as we get ourselves back open. So yep, Uncanny X-Men 139. It's a good one. And then this next one is also a classic X-Men cover. This is Uncanny X-Men 164. It's the first appearance of Binary. And by this point, Chris Claremont had taken over and was doing his kind of classic run on the X-Men. And yeah, so this is great cover here. You got the first appearance character right there, front and center. So we always like that. You got some of the classic X-Men here. You got Storm, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, one of my favorites, Colossus. Looking good, X-Men 164. And yeah, that's a classic. Classic cover there. The next one we have is kind of a different kind of issue. It's actually considered a controversial X-Men issue. That's Uncanny X-Men 196. And in this issue, there is a racial slur, apparently. Kitty Pryde compares being called a mutie, M-U-T-I-E, to being called a certain racial slur. And to be honest, I've never gone through the issue and looked at what that slur is, but apparently it's in there, and apparently it's offensive. So, so that's issue 196, also by Claremont. It's got a nice cover on it. You got Wolverine with his claws here. He's got a silhouette there in the background, and somebody's doing something shady in the alleyway. And I think Wolverine's about to try to stop him. So there it is, Uncanny X-Men 196. This next issue is one of my favorites, just because the cover is so good. That's Uncanny X-Men 212. And this is a cool key. It's actually the first battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. And it says it right there on the cover. Wolverine versus Sabretooth, round 1. So it's a cool issue, 2112. That cover is by Barry Windsor Smith. So that's a really cool classic Wolverine cover there. Uncanny X-Men 212, first battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. The next one's also a Wolverine and Sabretooth cover. This is a classic early battle with the Marauders, Mr. Sinister's crew, and it also has Wolverine and Sabretooth going at it on the cover. And yeah, actually, issue 221, right before this, is the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. So then this is the follow-up from that, and it's the very, very early appearance of the Marauders. So classic cover, really cool. Yeah, just a great issue. And this next one's another first appearance of a fan favorite. This is Uncanny X-Men 244. And this is the first appearance of Jubilee. And for those of you that grew up with the cartoon, the old X-Men cartoon on Saturday morning cartoons, Jubilee was where it all kind of started with that first issue and the Sentinels and everything. So Jubilee's a pretty big character. Unfortunately, she's not on the cover of this one, but a major issue anyway. So Uncanny X-Men 244, first appearance of Jubilee. And let's see. Just got two more here that we're going to go over. This is Uncanny X-Men 248. Story-wise, nothing too important, but this is the first Jim Lee art on the X-Men. And we know that Jim Lee had a ton of iconic X-Men covers. I don't know if this one is his best work. Obviously not. But yeah, historic, because Jim Lee, great comic book artist, and yeah, this was his first X-Men work. There it is, X-Men 248, still being written by Claremont. He's still chugging along there. And then the last one we're going to do, this actually isn't an X-Men comic, but it's the first appearance of a major X-Men character. This is X Factor, number 24. This is the first appearance of Archangel. Of course, Angel was part of the original X-Men team, but he was corrupted by Apocalypse. His angel wings were removed and replaced with metal wings, and he became Archangel. I always liked Archangel growing up. He just had a cool look to him, and it's a great story. He became an agent of Apocalypse, and then he turned back to his rightful ways and rejoined the X-Men. And great cover, right there, front and center for you. X Factor number 24. First appearance of Archangel. Really nice issue. Really, actually, in very good condition. We got this recently at a comic show. We traded some of our keys for another guy's keys because, that's just what you do when you're sitting around with a bunch of vendors with nothing better to do, especially the coronavirus and everything was just starting up. So there weren't a lot of people at the show, so we ended up all talking to each other and trading books and doing things like that. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy these, and if you do, let us know in the comments or the like button or whatever you need to do. And yeah, hopefully this was enjoyable and provided you a little bit of a distraction during these awkward times. And so I'm Chris with Uncanny Comics and Games, and hopefully we'll be doing a few more of these, and we'll see you soon. And as soon as the shop opens, we'll be glad to open our doors and see all of y'all in person. So until then, have a good one.